أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, esteemed speaker and distinguished members of the audience. My name is Aisha Ahmed and I'm honored to welcome you all on behalf of Al Fadal Academy. Al Fadal Academy, born from a vision steeped in dedication and piety, stands as a beacon of light for the Ummah. It was conceived with the noble intention of providing the Muslim community with a collection of profound programs and workshops that resonate deeply with the soul. These endeavors are meticulously designed with the lofty aspiration of effecting a transformation within individuals, elevating their character to a state of dignity and honor. Through these programs, participants are inspired to dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to seeking the pleasure and approval of Allah. At Al Fadel Academy, we understand that the journey towards self-improvement is a dynamic and lifelong journey. Hence, our offerings are diverse and cater to a wide range of interests and needs within the community. Whether it be through in-depth Quranic studies, heartwarming discussions on the prophetic traditions, or practical workshops on Islamic ethics, our programs are tailored to meet you at your point of need. We invite you to connect with us through our various platforms. On our Instagram page, you will find a treasure trove of inspirational content, including reflections, quotes, and glimpses into the transformative experiences of our participants. To explore our comprehensive list of programs and workshops, kindly visit the provided link on YouTube chat for your ease. Finally, for those seeking immediate interaction and engagement, we welcome you to join our WhatsApp channel. Again, the link will be provided on the YouTube chat. We are on day 2 of this gathering, Surviving or Thriving, Embracing Mental Wellness Conference, which is an attempt to be dedicated to the vital intersection of Islamic teachings and mental health. In these unprecedented times, where the challenges to our emotional and psychological well-being are more pronounced than ever, it is crucial that we come together to explore the wisdom of our faith and its application in the realm of mental health. We gather here not only as seekers of knowledge, but as compassionate caretakers of the hearts and minds entrusted to us by Allah. Our mission here is not only to understand the struggles faced by individuals within our community, but to offer solace, support, and healing through transformative power of Islamic teachings. As we embark on this journey, let us remember that our Prophet ﷺ is often described as a mercy to the worlds. His teaching encompasses not only the spiritual but the holistic well-being of humanity. And through the Quran and the Hadith, we find a treasure trove of guidance for nurturing our mental health, forging resilience, and fostering compassion for ourselves and others. As we engage in these discussions, and let us remember, dear audience, that our pursuit of knowledge and our dedication to mental health advocacy are acts of worship in service to Allah and in compassion for His creation. Together, let us commit ourselves to nurturing a community where mental health is not only understood, but embraced, where empathy flows freely, and where the light of Islam shines brightly upon the hearts of all. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Bela Khan, who is a multifaceted professional who wears many hats, from being a senior lecturer of psychology at IOU, the International Open University, to a life coach, an accomplished author, and a dedicated homeschooling mother. Her diverse roles are a testament to her deep commitment to personal development, education, and well-being. Bela Khan brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to her role as a senior lecturer of psychology at the International Open University. Her academic background includes a master's degree in psychology, and she holds numerous certifications in various aspects of personal development, parenting, relationships, entrepreneurship, and leadership. This diverse expertise allows her to provide a well-rounded approach to education and personal growth. As an author of 2 books, Bela Khan has contributed valuable insights to the field of personal development. Her writings reflect her passion for helping individuals unlock their potential and lead fulfilling lives. Additionally, her role as a homeschooling mom showcases her dedication to nurturing young minds and fostering a love for learning. Furthermore, Bela Khan is a dedicated trainer in the realms of personal development, relationships, high performance, and life coaching. Her expertise also lies in working with women and teenage girls, helping them overcome depression and heal emotionally through a holistic approach. With a background in Quran Tafseer and Hadith, Bela Khan possesses a deep understanding of Islamic principles and takes great joy in merging the concepts of psychology with the divine teachings of Islam. Our topic for this session is Beyond the Clouds. When in the darkest moments of depression, stress, and anxiety, remember that each dawn brings new opportunities for healing and growth. Just as the night gives way to the day, our struggles can lead us to resilience and a deeper understanding of our inner strength. And for this, to help us understand this entire concept much better, we have with us Bela Khan, and we eagerly anticipate the insights and wisdom she will share with us. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Sister Bela. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear sister.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. That was a very generous introduction. Jazakumullah khairan kathira.
Barakallahu feek, sister. Sister, the stage is all yours.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. First up, I am genuinely grateful for this opportunity, for your trust in me. And I hope and pray that, inshallah, this mental health conference serves as a beacon of hope and a light in the life of all of the people who have joined us. And so we will begin. I have a topic that is very close to my heart. And if that's only one thing that is given to me to, if I were to ask, like, there's only one message that you can deliver to the world, I am sure that it would be this topic. So I will start with this outline so as to give you an idea of where we are going with our presentation today. We will be starting with meaning in life, understanding what meaning in life is, right? People use different terms for it, purpose in life, your passion, all of that. It's okay, whatever term makes you feel comfortable, right? Then we are going to be understanding what is depression, because we are going to be linking the meaning or the absence of meaning in life with depression. And finally, we are going to be having a look at how can we find meaning in life. So before I begin, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow me to do justice with the topic and convey to you whatever I want to convey in the best possible way, inshallah. So my dear brothers and sisters, if you Google what is meaning in life, you're going to get a lot of definitions, right? But operating from a lens of Islamic psychology, what and people like me, what we are trying to do is to give definitions to the words that are in line with our religious perspective, right? Those of you who are aware of post-modernity, the day and age that we live in, this is a day and age of deconstruction, or if I may say, destruction of definitions, right? So 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it was not as confusing as it is today, right? Come post-modernity, and we are confused about our gender, we are confused about our profession, we are confused about the words, their meanings, all of that, right? So your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth is relative, and yeah, that's like crazy world we are living in. So what gives us light, what gives us direction, what gives us clarity of thought is indeed Islam, right? I am biased, I can't help it. I am operating from the lens of Islamic psychology, and I think has been conveyed very explicitly by Sister Aisha that, when we operate from this lens, the path is clear, right? So if I were to define meaning in life as per what Islam suggests, is that you have a meaningful life, right? And by you, I mean very confidently, each one of you, right? So Aisha, Safa, Maryam, Zainab, whoever is listening, Brother Abdullah, Abdurrahman, everyone has a meaning in life. If we don't know it, if we haven't discovered it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is there, we just have to find it, right? You have a meaningful life when you are engaged in something that benefits others, right? Al Fadel Academy brings to you an entire conference all for free. They didn't have to do it, but they are doing it. It is making difference in someone's life, right? That is essentially what the meaning of life is, right? I would have, had time permitted, I would have gone into some of the characteristics of it, but okay, inshallah, whatever Allah permits. Something that makes a difference in someone else's life, right? And if I were to ask you, my dear brothers and sisters, think of success in any term, right? Think of any successful person. And if, whether it's worldly terms, you think about Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or whatever, or in terms of our religious perspective, right? Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a successful man. Umar, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, they were successful people. What one thing they did in common, right? They were being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, if we see in our religious, through our religious lens, even if you think about these people who are purely successful in worldly terms, what are they doing? Right? They have given you Facebook, they have given you Microsoft, they have given you Twitter, right? So in one way or the other, they are serving people, they are making difference in the life of people. So a meaningful life essentially is what makes a difference in the life of people, right? And where I take my inspiration for when it comes to this definition, and since of course my inspiration is coming from Quran, I'll just share the part of the ayah that is relevant to our discussion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al Imran, Kuntum khayra ummatin, you are the best nation, ukhrijat linnas, produced for mankind, right? You may use different words. You're the best of the people, resurrected for mankind. You're the best of the people, brought forth for mankind, right? So the very essence of you being the best is that you are doing something for someone in their life, making a difference in their lives, making their lives better, right? I gave you the just the example of the girls in Al Fadel Academy. Well, they don't have to do it, right? But they are doing it, and that is what essentially entails to have meaningful life or meaningful organizations or meaningful passion, whatever you want to call it, right? Depression, feelings of sadness, low mood, loss of interest in their usual activity must mark a change from a person's previous level of functioning and have persisted for at least 2 weeks. That's what DSM tells us. And then it goes on to give the diagnostic categories. We're not getting into the details of it. But all of us understand depression in one way or the other, right? So it's like a person is feeling low, continuously sad for at least 2 weeks straight, right? That is what the diagnostic criteria primarily is. Now, the question is, okay, before we get into the question, the etiology, right? Why depression? What are the causes of depression? Can be the family history, could be personality, could be due to medical illness, it's like a breast cancer awareness month is going on, and I happen to hear some success stories of breast cancer survivors. And one of the things that I found common was the moment they were informed that they were having some level of breast cancer, it was the most difficult moment of the entire journey, right? So serious medical illness can also lead to depression, drug and alcohol use, and subhanAllah, this is the reason we are very grateful to Islam for making it impermissible. Some life events, right? Something happened, someone you loved died, and all of that can also be changes in brain chemistry. This list is by no means exhaustive. It can go on and on and on, right? But one of the things that we usually ignore, and it was, if we talk about modern psychology, it was very well identified by Viktor Frankl when he said that the absence of meaning in life can also lead to depression, right? And I was very tempted to share quite a lot of statistics and quite a lot of, just a second, and my apologies, I need to All right, we continue. Sisters, can you see the screen now? I hope you can.
Yes, sister.
Okay. Right, so he's done a lot of work. I'll just very quickly take you through the work that he has. I mean, it is an extensive work, but just there are a few things that he called existential vacuum. So existential essentially means our existence, and vacuum means there's an emptiness, right? So sometimes you're like what's okay, I'll explain it in the next slide. And then this vacuum leads to frustration. First we feel that emptiness, and then that emptiness leads to frustration, right? So what is vacuum? It's inner emptiness. You feel that there's something missing in life, right? There's something more. I need to start an organization. I need to serve the flood victims or the war victims or the earthquake victims, or I need to tell the world that Islam is the solution. Something is missing. My inner core is quite literally screaming, right? So Frankel introduces the term existential vacuum to describe the condition of the people who various reasons do not have meaning in their lives, right? And consequently you'll see that, oh, I'm very bored, I feel empty, I'm so lonely. And the lack of meaning and spiritual values, if unattended over a long period of time, may lead to what we call existential vacuum, which eventually leads to existential frustration, right? So, existential frustration in our search for meaning caused by affluence, homeostasis. So what it is saying is that if that vacuum is not addressed, it can lead to so much of problems, symptoms, that eventually this, in simple words, you can say that yes, one is experiencing the symptoms of depression. And quite a lot that existential psychology has to offer. Of course, there are a lot of things that we would not agree with, being Muslims, and being and having this understanding that our lives essentially are meaningful. Of course, we'll not, but there is a lot that the meaninglessness that is associated, it can lead to depression, it can lead to other forms of psychopathologies as well, right? So a few things that Frankel says, and it is very much in line with our understanding. So he says life has an ultimate meaning. For us, life also has an ultimate meaning, right? Being the abd of Allah. And I'll share the ayah now, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So in a nutshell, all of us are the ultimate common meaning that all of us we have is being the abd of Allah, right? And being the abd of Allah is not limited to the rituals, salah, zakah, all of that, of course, included, but not limited to it. It means that everything that we are doing, even we are running an organization, even we are, anything that you can possibly think of, making decision of moving, making decision of migrating, starting a business, going to a school, choosing your courses, everything when you're doing, you have to be the abd of Allah, right? And Frankel says life has meaning under all circumstances. And if you read his life history, especially he was captured by the Nazi forces, he was being kept in the concentration camp for around roughly 3 years, and worst possible human conditions that you can think of is what he describes, right? But what he essentially says is that life didn't cease to have meaning even in that concentration camp. And if we take inspiration from our rich Islamic history, think about Yusuf alayhi salam. He was in the prison, right, for years and years and years, but he doesn't say that, oh, I'm in the prison, I cannot do anything, right? Life was meaningful even in the prison for him, where he is giving the understanding, the interpretation of dreams to his prison mates, where he is still doing da'wah to people, where he's still using all the limited resources that he has to serve the ultimate meaning, right? There's a deeper overarching meaning, any all of us, some in one way or the other, has a meaning that is complementing, right? That has some common points. And because also there is meaning in every moment, meaning can be found in every situation, meaning is discovered through a connectedness with something beyond and greater than oneself, right? So meaning is something, sometimes, when I get very emotional, I describe meaning as something that if somebody puts a gun to your head and the person asks that, what is that you can die for? Right? You tell, the answer should be the meaning in your life, right? Whatever it is, whether it's teaching, it's helping people save marriages, whether it's whatever you can think of, right? So you can live for the meaning, you can die for the meaning, right? So this is ultimate meaning. After ultimate meanings comes our individual meaning, right? So in order to be able to serve that ultimate meaning, I'll do it some other way, someone else will do it some other way, and then I get another person will do someone else. So for example, I'm a teacher, I am teaching, right? But then there is an entire staff behind, the technical staff, that is making it possible that my teaching reaches all those people who are being taught, right? So the meaning or the purpose of the technical staff is as important as my meaning in life, right? It is associated. I'm not very sure of the authenticity of this story, but it is associated with one of the president of America. He went to NASA and he spoke to a person, a janitor, or someone who was cleaning. He said, "What are you doing?" So he answers, and it was very profound. If it was really true, that he says that I am cleaning a place that makes it possible for man to reach the moon, right? So even that person who was cleaning the floor was so clear in what I'm doing and how is it meaningful and how it is related to the ultimate meaning of the organization, right? So your ultimate meaning supported by your individual meaning. You're a teacher, you're a technical staff, you're a cleaner, you're whatever. It has to be meaningful and it has to be associated with the ultimate meaning of life. Franco says, ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life, he can only respond by being responsible. So it's our responsibility to find the meaning that life is already offering us. Frankel maintained that meaning exists for us to discover. It cannot be created or rationalized. So I don't know how much of you are aware of the existentialist or existential school of thought, which says that life is essentially meaningless and you have to create your own meaning. Frankel says something different. And this is pretty much in line with our Islamic understanding, that we also believe that life is essentially inherently meaningful, and I'll support it with the ayat of Quran in a while. In other words, we can discover meaning, but we can't make meaning because meaning is such a poor and irreducible concept. It is difficult to define. And inshallah, that brings me to the most important part of the discussion, but I'll just take a moment to share with you Solace Services. Solace is a brainchild of Dr. Bilal Phillips. And very quickly, this is where, and inshallah, your mental health struggles will be honored, no stigma, nothing attached. And a few services that Solace is offering is one-on-one mental health counseling. We have counselors, very competent, very amazing counselors from almost all parts of the world. And we also have one-on-one life coaching that sometimes, the problem is not as intense to be labeled as a mental health issue, but then there are some confusions in decision making, some issues at workplace, some issues in the house that are needed to be resolved. For this, we have life coaching services. We have one-on-one imam consultation, despite of the fact that, subhanallah, Islam gives a very comprehensive guidelines for our issues but then sometimes some issues are quite customized and need one-on-one imam consultation. So inshallah, Solace also provides that one-on-one imam consultation. Our certification program, Islamic Integrated Life Coaching, is a 3-month program where you can enroll and you can train to be a life coach. We live in a day and age where we need a lot of professionals who can help others navigate the challenges in life. So you get a certification for life coaching once, of course, you meet the criteria. and that is Islamically integrated. So you'll not have to worry about, if that practice is in line with Islam or not. Every month we offer 2-day workshops. So it's like any challenges that you're going through, inshallah, that can be addressed. And then we also have 4-month-long specialization. So if you are interested in any form of therapy, let's say you're interested in CBT, or you're interested in Jungian psychology, or you're interested in Franco psychology, logotherapy, humanistic. So we have specializations, inshallah, coming up. And I think that should be of some help to people who are listening. Moving right along, we have what we did was we discussed how can we find meaning in life. Firstly, understanding that we are the Khalifa on earth, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the angels, I am inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. I am making on earth a caliph. And the angel said, are you making therein one who corrupts it and sheds blood? Well, we praise you and we sanctify you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, surely I know that which you do not know, right? So you need to understand that you are the Khalifa on earth, a representative on earth, right? And this is where, again, we can take some help from logotherapy, Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, that says that how can we find meaning in life is by creative work or achievement, right? I'm not going through the entire slide. I'm just telling you the crux of it. What is your unique talent that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you? What's your way of uniquely creating something that someone else? It can be teaching, it can be calligraphy, it can be painting, it can be a life coaching, it can be counseling, it can be you name it, and you can be a tech savvy person. You can create apps that are Islamic friendly apps, all of that. What is your unique ability, unique talent? You can use the same talent to serve Allah's people, just need to fix the niyyah, right? Then experiencing something or someone deeply, right? So the connections, unfortunately, we live in a day and age, the bombardment of, again, the Western philosophy that we are experiencing, what they're essentially doing, and I will hold secular psychology as much responsible for this, that what they're doing is that they're essentially cutting people off people in the name of, creating boundaries, in the name of individualization, me, myself, and I, all of that. And the more lonely you get, the more mental health issues you will experience, right? The more meaninglessness in life you will experience. And that is definitely going to serve the capitalist society big time. It is going to serve pharmaceutical industry, cosmetic industry, it will serve food industry. The more lonelier you get, you're going to find comfort in food, you're going to find comfort in makeup, and then you'll have to take medication for your mental health. So all these industries are working in great synchronicity to be able to make a person more and more lonely, cut off their relationship, do not create boundaries, do not let your mother in. SubhanAllah, somebody shared this, an amazing Western homosexual psychologist who is making a lot of quote unquote difference in the world. And somebody shared a video with me where she's telling that even if your mom enters your house, how can you create boundaries with your mom, not let her enter? SubhanAllah, yeah, your mom made you worth having a house in the first place, bismillah, right? And finally, adopting an attitude of resilience and courage. Sometimes, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does put you in a situation that you cannot change, right? Think about Yusuf alayhi salam's prison. Think about Shaib Abi Talib, where Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions were confined for 3 years. Think about any such Viktor Frankl himself, right? I'm giving the example of modern psychology for those who usually challenge us. Yeah, that was like the companion's time. Can you bring an example from modern psychology? So here you have the example from modern psychology as well. While I strongly believe that the Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companion, the prophets, that's quite enough for us. That's quite rich for us. But anyway, so there are sometimes genuinely when you cannot change the situation, you are with a narcissistic husband, you are with difficult in-laws, you are with what you can actually do is that you can still change your attitude, right? If I were to say that this is the small circle Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you and confined you in this circle, your question is how can I make a difference in this circle? If this circle entails a prison, if this circle represents difficult in-laws, and you have to go on, if this circle represents a difficult spouse, whatever, or business, or lack of finances, whatever this circle represents, your question is, how can I still continue? What attitude can I can still serve people in this small circle? What attitude can I adopt to still keep growing? Still keep transcending my circumstances, right? So inshallah, wallahi, I've seen with my own eyes that if you be the obedient person of Allah in this small circle, in this prison, in this concentration camp, if you utilize your full potential, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does is that He enlarges the circle, so you have more authority, right? Then it gets bigger. I hope I'm making sense. So our job is to be the servant of Allah, the obedient servant of Allah, follow His guidelines within the limited circle that has been given to us. It's inshallah, as a result of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlarges our circle, our impact. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, do you think that we have created you uselessly? Right? And you will not be returned. So this is very much reflective of the fact that the life inherently is meaningful. It's not useless. And I already discussed from Ma khalaqtul janna wal insa illa liya'budun. My dear sisters, am I already over time? Okay, very quickly then. So essentially, in a nutshell, what you can do is that you can find meaning, find what you love. How can you turn it into your profession, or how can you use it for the service of humanity? And if you can perhaps take a screenshot or take a picture of this. Who am I? So perhaps you would want to define yourself as the Khalifa on the earth, doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked. What am I here for in this world? Doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked you to do in this world. What is your role, and what is my role in the world, right? The role that a Khalifa plays. How will I play that role? Identify your unique talents. How am I going to make the difference in this world using those unique talents that you identified in the previous question to make someone else's life easier, right? And another way to ask the question, what is that I enjoy doing? And how can I turn my passion into profession? Had time permitted me, I would have definitely taken the answers from you, but I gave the answers because time is running short. And sisters, can you let me know that if I can continue with these questions, or shall I stop?
We will be taking the questions, Sister Bela. Just, yeah, we can actually continue with them right now. So would you want us to read out the questions for you so that you have a break as well?
No, just let me know if I should take these questions, like the questions that were already given to me first, or shall we go ahead and take the questions of the participants first?
You can go ahead with this. You can go ahead with this.
Okay, thank you. All right. So some of the questions were sent ahead of time, and we are very grateful for that. Let's see if I can answer. So Bismillah. Role of ulama in suicide prevention, right? So one of the things that I keep saying and keep reiterating, that we live in a day and age where a lot of collaboration of different fields of mental health is required, right? So if you're a psychiatrist, you are a psychologist, you are a social worker, you are an imam or alim, all of us need to work in collaboration to be able to provide the best services to people, right? And when we say that, ulama, I don't know which word should I use to deliver the intensity of their role, the incredible significance of their role in containing mental health issues, in containing the rate of suicide, right? And specifically, when this question comes about suicide prevention, there's like two ways of doing it, one-on-one, right? And there's an imam, a person comes to the imam, and the imam thinks that, okay, there's something abnormal with this person, I cannot deal with this person. The next thing you do is that refer them to a mental health profession, be it a psychologist, psychiatrist, right? Let them handle, because you know that now the symptoms are very grave, very intense, and this has gone beyond your capabilities, beyond your expertise, right? So one-on-one, the second thing is that, my dear sisters, again, they need to understand a little bit of how modern psychology or secular psychology is playing with our mindset, right? And they need to add all these, whether you call them research, whether you call them revelations, in their khutbahs, in their, wherever they are having an audience and addressing an audience, to include them, right? Not starting from suicide prevention, why a person gets suicidal in the first place, right? These topics should be added in our khutbahs, in our, wherever, the imam is addressing an audience, in the classes, in the madrasas, in the universities, right? So why do we become suicidal in the first place, and addressing those causes. And inshallah, once you address the cause, the effect takes care of itself, right? The effect, it just vanishes. But the causes have to be identified, and they are needed to be talked about, right? So then again, summarizing, they can one-on-one basis, they can help them by referring, or collective basis, they can add their understanding in their khudmas, in their madrasas, wherever they can possibly add it, and then inshallah address the causes, and the effect will take care of itself. Is Islam the only way to happiness, well-being? I would like to differentiate between happiness and well-being, right? So Islam is a very comprehensive way of life that does lead to well-being. Absolutely. If I were to say that happiness is essentially a byproduct, right? The more you aim for happiness, that it's so elusive, it will go away, right? So what we need to do is probably what I have pretty much discussed every point in the presentation, is to engage ourselves in meaningful activities, in meaningful relationship, right? And the circumstances that do not allow meaningful activities, or changing our attitude. Happiness is essentially a byproduct of doing all of that, right? You do something for your relationship, the relationship strengthens, as a result you get happiness. You do something, you engage in something meaningful, life of someone else changes, you get happiness as a byproduct, right? So Islam gives you all the ways that are necessary to understand or to get happiness as a byproduct, right? Well-being, I would say that well-being is a very holistic term, right? It can be physical well-being, it can be emotional well-being, it can be spiritual well-being. So essentially, the way Islam sees well-being is a very holistic. You should be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy, having a balanced life in order to be able to achieve well-being. And by all means, Islam gives you all the comprehensive ways, all the comprehensive methodology, a framework to attain that well-being, right? And I hope this serves, right? How can a person overcome negativity in herself who is living a long distance relationship with her husband for a long period of time and has no support or hope from husband even for future to be together? My dear sister, I would strongly suggest you to learn to associate your belief system with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The more we rely on people, the more we associate our belief system with people, the more we give them control to play with our emotions, right? So I have associated all my belief system with my husband. The day he says that, yeah, I'm going to call you to America. Yeah, the visa and process, that day I'll be happy. Another day he calls me, yeah, you know what? I had to go and apply for your papers, but I was too tired. I was like, yeah, I slept. That day I'll be sad, right? It means that I have given too much of my emotional control to a person. Your belief system should be associated with Allah, right? So let's say if you are living in India, your husband is living in the UK, and you are looking forward to going to the UK, or, I'm just making it up. You can think of any country. Your belief system should be associated with Allah, right? You must have this belief system that if Allah has allowed me, or Allah has facilitated my marriage with this man, He will take me to this man, right? I will do whatever is needed of me to do, right? However, I will not put my trust on any of the means, whether it's my husband or whether I'm doing, or whether the paperwork or whether the visa, whatever it is, I'm putting my trust in Allah, right? Think of it this way. A companion came to Prophet ﷺ and he said, okay, there is a certain version of it in which he says that I have not tied my camel, I have put my trust in Allah. Prophet ﷺ said, tie it first and then put your trust in Allah. Meaning you will take all the means which are necessary to go to that country, but you're not going to put your trust in that means. You're going to put your trust in Allah. Oh Allah, I did the paperwork that was supposed to be done, and now I have full faith in you that you will make those papers, something happen with them that will eventually take me to that country, right? The more you associate your belief system with Allah, that no matter what the outer circumstances are, no matter what my husband says, no matter what the visa people say or the passport people say, no matter what, I have full faith in Allah that if He has allowed me to marry this man, He will take me to this man. And the stronger this belief is, my dear sisters, I'll tell you, we teach belief system all the time. And the miraculous stories our students share with us, we don't do anything. Wallahi, we don't do it. We just help them to take their belief off of people and associate with Allah. As a result, the success story, the miraculous story that they share is iman boosting for ourselves as well. So inshallah, I hope, my dear sister, that you will be sharing your success story very soon with Fidel people, and Fidel people will inshallah share it with us, that you are united with your husband, inshallah. My apologies, one question. How to calm ourselves being a stay-at-home mom who can get overstimulated by Maghrib? Okay, so my dear sisters, what happens is that there are two things, two kind of activities that go on in our lives, very generally telling you, right? One kind of energy is one kind of activities are taking our energy, right? Not seeing in a negative way. So for example, you have just mopped the house, right? Mopping the house in and of itself is a good thing, but the way you lose your physical energy after that, you get tired, you take a break and all of that. Similarly, some activities take our emotional energy, right? So while children are in aman from Allah, while we love our children, I love my children, all of us love our children, but there comes a point where, subhanallah, they have taken so much of our energy, both physical and emotional, that we are like, khalas, I am done, just leave me. So for this, what we essentially need to do is to find sources that recharge our energy, right? These sources can be very different for different people, right? You just need to identify what is that for you. So for me, a great way to recharge myself, I know I'm going to get to be attending to my kids again. I know I have to do laundry. I know I have to do all of that. But for me, teaching is recharging for me, right? So I make sure that I'm teaching, I am doing something that can be labeled as teaching every single day, right? That is a very important source of, or you can say that's my energy reservoir. I refill myself and then I go back to my house. I'm also a stay-at-home mom, except that I'm working online, right? I go to back to my children. I have that. So what is that energy reservoir for you, right? It can be any meaningful activity for you. It can sometimes be a spa. It can sometimes be, your hand and feet massage. It can be something. But, those things are, you can say, temporary fix. I am not taking away from their significance. They are important, but they are temporary fix. What you need to do is to identify something that you can engage on daily basis in order to recharge yourself. It can be your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it can be an extra nafil, it can be memorization of Quran, it can be anything, it can be teaching. It can be volunteering for an online organization if you're a stay-at-home mom and cannot leave the house, right? So just find what refuels you, what recharges you. I hope that helps. Inshallah, we can proceed with any online questions if we have, or whatever you guys decide.
No, Sister Bella, I think there are no online questions as of now. Alhamdulillah, I would but definitely say Jazakallah khairan kathira, Sister, for speaking to our audience today. And subhanAllah, when you asked if you should be taking questions, I was actually snapped out of deep thought because I went into reflective mode of what's the meaning of many things that we do in life. And so there was a pause when I was trying to answer the question that you asked. SubhanAllah. We are truly grateful to we are truly grateful to Allah for enabling this session for us with you. And I'm sure the audience also resonates with this as well. Barakallahu feek, sister.
وإياكم جزاكم الله خيرا كثيرا for having me, and I wish you all, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your endeavor a great success and be a source of khair for the entire ummah, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum.
Ameen, ameen. To all our participants, both near and far, your presence has been instrumental in creating an atmosphere of shared learning and support. I would be remiss not to extend heartfelt thanks to our volunteers whose tireless efforts and dedication have brought this conference to life. As is the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the stronger believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, while there is good in both. So let us leave here strengthened in faith and determined to support one another on our respective journeys towards mental well-being. May Allah grant us the wisdom and insight to navigate through these discussions, and may our collective efforts be a means of illumination for those who seek solace and understanding. We ask Allah to help us, enable us to take the learnings from this session and apply to our lives at all times. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.